Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I love every time we get together with this gentleman because anything is possible with him. Anything you imagine, it's possible. I'm trying to think of situations where something isn't. And what am I referring to? I'm referring to the creation of video, which is something that can increase leads, drive your business, propel you to create awareness and credibility. And isn't that what we want if we have a business, or even if we're just an individual and want to increase our brand? I.e., I know real estate people that are doing video, just kicking it up. And even the video of house showings have the quality of which has gone up. And rightfully so, because the house of real estate is big now. So you want to get the most you can. It all comes down to one thing: video content done well. That's what he does. Graham Duval joins us again here on the program. Welcome back. How you doing?
Hey, Steve, how's it going? How are you?
I am good. I'm good. And before we can do any of this video creation, we have to know who's watching, and we have to define the audience. Can you walk us through that whole process?
Yeah, it's so key to really know who you're talking to, because unless the whole goal is to elicit that emotional kind of response, get the brain to trigger to want to make a decision. And so knowing your audience and your niche and who your ideal customer is really helps define the way that we're going to create pieces of content, especially when you think about marketing and with video content. You want to define who your ideal customer is, and that's going to help craft what you're doing. But that's not to say that along the way that there might be other people that might filter in, but having that clear picture of who it is that you're talking to just helps craft everything else. Because if you're a chiropractor and you're looking to create something to bring in more chiropractic patients or clients, you're not going to talk in a way that might have more medical verbiage in it or something like that. You know, you're going to speak more to who this person is that you want to talk to. Or like a plumber, if you're creating content for them, we're not going to talk about like construction stuff in something that a plumber is going to need. So it really defining that helps the overall process tremendously.
What if well, I guess if you had a business, you would know who your audience is. You have to define that target. What if it's multiple audiences?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you'd be surprised. Like, I work with some businesses, and like, this is, part of what we do is creating this branding style of like, because content helps create that brand around your business. And some of them haven't put that thought into like who that ideal customer is yet. And so what we do is we sit down and really dive deep into like who that ideal customer is. And to that question of what if there's multiple ones, we'll create different customer avatars for the top ones. Usually it's around between 1 and 3. That's like typically where we're at. And then what we can do is find that cross section of where people's interests and different things overlap. Because as a brand, you don't want to dilute yourself with having, like, say, for example, if you had an Instagram account, you don't want to dilute yourself by having multiple accounts for each specific audience either. Sure. We want to see where we can come all together with this.
And I guess ultimately, if possible, it would be to try and get the most. Throwing the stone, you want to hit the target as wide as possible, but you could be a brand that, let's say, a food. Well, pick anything.
Yep.
It's going to look a little bit different to a 20 to 35-year-old audience as it would for, let's say, 35 to 55. Different lifestyle, different situation. I'm going to go with a beverage, whatever it might be. younger demographic, you might see images of that demographic enjoying that beverage. Yeah, let's say outside doing, other people around the same age, it's going to resonate with them. However, if you're, 48, they might look at, I'm not 21, I'm not going to drink this stuff, but you can swing it around for somebody of that age. But it's finding those goals, finding the demographic, and then creating the video.
Exactly.
I believe it. Yet you could also have the same template. Now I'm getting granular here, but the same template and just put in those shots of the age at that moment.
Exactly. That is 100% correct. Because that template, there's proven structures that work. So we need to have some sort of hook that's going to grab people's attention. We need to provide some sort of value or something that's going to connect with them, and we need to have some sort of call to action. So changing the different pieces around based on who that audience is, it still is going to do what it needs to do.
I would love to see some examples of what you've done for clients. Can we take a look at that?
Yeah, no, that's a great opportunity. I'd love to. So yeah, this is my website here. So this client, Tensegrity Health, this is what we're going to be considering more of a brand message video. It talks like, this is what they do. This is what they offer overall as a business. Hopefully everybody can see this. So this is, we'll kind of talk over this a little bit. I'm the owner and physician here at Tensegrity Health and Aesthetics. So here, let me lower the volume a little bit, just so
and I can hear her audio coming in.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'll kind of explain what's going on. So like, she's here talking about what she's doing, what they offer. It's an interview, multi-camera interview, with the B-roll footage on top, as like a way to accentuate what she's saying. These guys have done great through this. They've grown into a much larger location from using these types of pieces of content. But these videos tend to be like 2 to 3 minutes long because it explains more of everything. But the structure is what I want to highlight, is that it's an interview style with the B-roll kind of footage on top, accentuating each aspect of what it is she's talking about. And so that's going to be kind of an overall like brand style video. This is who we are. Welcome to the world kind of deal.
And let me ask you now.
Yeah.
That was about 2 minutes long.
Yep.
Would we call that a branding video?
That would be a branding video. That would be like, this is the message that they want to get out to their public, as far as like what they offer and who they are.
A great video, by the way. So
Thank
clean, so rich. And take this as a compliment when I say, when she was speaking and there was a background, it was so perfectly lit, but laid back a little bit so that she popped out. It almost didn't look real. It looked like a phony Zoom background because it was that good.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it. We take pride in the lighting is such a key piece to all of this. And
sure.
You yourself might relate to this. We've worked with radio stations. Radio is still I'm not going to show this one right now just because it's the same style.
Sure.
It's a brand video where they talk about this is what they stand for and things like that. But this is one that I do want to highlight. It's a similar style, but it is one of the most converting forms of content out there. It's a testimonial video. So she is a client of the other business. So we're doing kind of a similar thing where we've got the interview and then we shot her getting the services done, so that we could highlight her experience with the business. And these types of videos perform extremely well, because when you can drive traffic to like a case study or a testimonial of a business, like the more of those you have, we talked about your ideal audience. It makes it easier to segment it out because you can have one for each of your different ideal clients, and then they relate with that.
That's a really great point. And to your point, you can even cut it down shorter, make it an ad in
Yep.
social. And if you have different demographics that you appeal to, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to cross pollinate them, you want somebody who's 30 watching it saying, that's me. Because
Exactly.
that person looks like they're about 30 and then I'm about 30, or I could be 48 or 58 and look at it and say, somebody of that age, that's me. But when you put the ads out on social, you can define the age.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. 100%. So
Wow.
those are two of, so like our main core videos that you need for a business are going to be the brand style video, testimonial video, and then a promo video. And so this one here, it's shorter, like maybe about a minute, not too much talking, but just like something that you can post up on social media. It's almost like an ad. Not
Wow.
quite, but it's quicker cuts, a little bit more of just like day in the life kind of vibe. This is going
Mm.
to be the type of thing that you would use to then drive the traffic to the brand video and then supported with the testimonial videos. Um,
I know it's for a photographer,
yeah,
but coincidentally, your your photography is amazing. Some of those shots, the lower shots, the light behind her, uh,
mm,
even the fall, this really, really feels good. Wow.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So those are going to be kind of the key aspects to a good video strategy: having a promo video, having some sort of brand video, and having testimonials. And then I do want to show one other kind of piece of content that is extremely important in today's world, and that is the social media content
Sure.
where we're shooting things in vertical. It's tend to be more personal relationship building where it's someone speaking directly to the camera. So when someone is watching, they're like, hey, this person's actually talking right to me, which is a very powerful. And so this is a business right out in Kennebunk, Maine. They're a payroll provider, which is interesting because you might not think of a business like this being something like as exciting, but they provide a lot of value in their videos. But these are super quick, super. There's a good one. Hold on. I want a good one here. Yeah. But they're quick. They've got the captions on them.
Make sure you have some key information like your business's EIN, that's your employer identification number, and the
But it's oh, and this is a
Wow.
different style. Yeah, there's different styles. Uh different styles of editing in this way, but the point being is that they're extremely fast cuts. Like something changes every 3 to 5 seconds. It's someone talking directly to you,
Mm.
and is providing value. And so like this would be even, we talked last week about top of funnel stuff. Like this is going to be even way top of funnel. Then it's going to be like the promo, then the branding, and then the testimonials. And like if you can guide people through that whole process of seeing all that content, by the time they're getting to your testimonials, they know you. they are ready to make a decision and they're ready to become a customer at that point.
I love these. They now, how do you, on the back end,
Yeah.
obviously you shoot the video.
Mm-hmm.
How are you post producing it? Are you doing that within an app in Instagram, or that's all done on your end
This
where you normally?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we edit with Adobe Premiere. So it's all done manually. We use zooms and like the highest quality fonts. And that's the other thing is like these can kind of become branding too because they're on social media and that we want people see them all the time. We want people to like see one of these short form pieces of content and be like, oh, that's Paper Trail's video, like that's clearly them, you know what I mean? So we incorporate their colors and things like that. Like for example, like, oh, mine look a little bit more like my style, you know what I mean? I have a little bit more fun with it, like this is
Strong social media presence requires daily commitment and adding value consistently. Even
but that's kind of
Yeah.
it's that vibe of like we got 30 seconds to grab their attention organically. How are we doing this?
And providing value
It's
where
so
you're
key.
you're giving a tip. It's not like,
Mhm.
grandma's not up there. You need to shoot video. Yes, you need to shoot video. Why? Because you need to shoot video. No, you're giving inside information like the other gentleman with the payroll company.
Yep.
But you said one word that says it all when it comes to this type of stuff. Actually,
Mhm.
all of it.
Yep.
Style.
100%.
You're
100%.
creating a style, call it a video style, loosely put, can also be your branding style. And
Mm-hmm.
it's all going to be cohesive along the way. But that needs to be determined and defined. Really important.
Exactly. 100%. That is, you know, you want people to recognize that connection of who you are as a business. And through the amount of value that you're providing, the style of your videos, and then once they get further in the funnel, the experiences that they're seeing through like the testimonials and things like that, it just creates the visual appeal of a business that someone now can trust you. They may not even have met you yet, but they can trust this business because they've gotten value. They've seen the experience. They know what is being offered, like through a branding video. They know what is being offered. And there's no questions as whether or not this business is high quality, is going to deliver on what they say, and that they can trust them.
Wow. Finding somebody's style, to me, that looks like fun. Once you've had the conversation, let's say you look at their logo, colors, things, what they're into, their vibe. Like
Yep.
you wouldn't use your style with a investment broker.
No,
It's not going to fit.
no, it does not fit. It is the fun part. Like there's a little bit of back and forth to it because what we'll do is like we'll dive into that ideal client. They'll send me all their branding assets. I'll put something together, essentially like an edit one time through, kind of be like, this is what we would think as far as based on everything that we talked about, everything that we know about your ideal client, everything that we know from your branding assets. And this is what we think your visual appeal would develop as. And then they may be like, well, maybe, let's change this a little bit and kind of incorporate that. And if it's not too far off, like where I might give my professional opinion of like, well, we've done things like this before and it's worked. We can change it, but how about we kind of go in this direction so that because I've done this so much and I see what works. You know what I mean? So I do like to give it to the client because it is their business, but like there is certain things that do work that we want to stay within those. I'm a musician too, so I like to kind of give that music analogy where it's like, you have the song, then the soloist can solo within the song, and that's kind of the vibe. Is like there's a structure that we have. You have the freedom within this structure.
Amazing. I'm glad we did this because
Yeah,
now
me
I
too.
get a better feel for what can be done, how you do what you do, and super cool. Like again,
Yeah.
anything is possible. But and I'm trying to think here, what couldn't you do?
Yeah.
Give me,
No,
what do you got? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I haven't run across it yet. So there's, unless it's like some crazy thing that's like, jump out of an airplane or something like that. But even then, like
You could do that.
We could make it happen. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. Let's say there's video or footage not available of your municipality from the sky, and you
Yep.
want to get it. There's drone, but you can't go up that
yeah.
high. You could hook up with this is so hypothetical, but a skydiving school and have one of their participants put a GoPro on their helmet.
100%.
Same thing if you're your life coach. Do you feel like a fish out of water?
Right.
Now you want, a certain type of fish in a certain bay. You get the footage from that. You can do that.
Yeah, we can organize it all. Like I said, that we haven't run into it yet as far as something that we haven't been able to bring the life out of our client's idea. So
I got one. And this is real. Let's say you want drone footage of a building, but the building is located very close to an airport.
Ooh.
Legally,
yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah,
there may be ways around it by not putting a drone up, but getting footage up high or whatever it might be. But if you're steadfast on drone footage looking down, you legally can't do it. So
there is it would depend on what airport too, because there is things that we can submit that allow like for an hour that we're gonna at a specific time gonna get this footage, you know what I mean? So it would depend really.
But guess what? That wasn't that we weren't bound by lack of creativity. We were bound by legality.
Legalities. Yeah, exactly.
Well, figure there's always a way. There's always a way. Graham, great stuff today. Great talk. Your website, how do we find you?
Yeah, my website, as we saw, is valudproductions.com, VALUD productions.com. Click the contact form. Let me know. Happy to bring your creative vision to life.
Love that. Well said. As long as there's not a legality involved. No, I'm kidding. Graham, always great talking with you. Thanks for being on, and we'll catch up next time.
Sounds good.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes. and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.